Throp here again. As you're probably hearing, Jamaica is on an unprecedented economical tear, and I know many people are interested to learn how they might be able to buy property in Jamaica, move here, or even start a business. Enter ThropX. This is my annual Jamaica investment conference hosted at Travelers Beach Resort in Negril, Jamaica. If you're even considering moving to or investing in Jamaica, this is the best low-risk opportunity to do your due diligence and network with the very people driving the country forward. This event brings together a group of hand-picked, trusted, top-of-their-field individuals, the best developers, contractors, real estate pros, lenders, and government partners, all under one roof to help you make your move. This is very much an action-focused premium conference experience geared towards empowering you with the tools and team necessary to create your Jamaica dream. We've partnered with the Tax Administration of Jamaica to help you get your TRN and even open a bank account, all conveniently located on conference property. One of the most popular parts of the conference is a real estate tour. It's the best way to understand Jamaica's real estate market, seeing and experiencing properties firsthand so you can compare apples to apples. Another incredibly valuable part of the conference is the people you will meet. Attendees have been some of the most dynamic, inspiring individuals I have met doing incredible things with their lives. As always, this year will be fun, educational, and actionable, giving you the tools, insights, and connections to invest, build, and move to Jamaica. For more information, please visit thropx.com and join our mailing list. Hey there, Throp here. I wanted to interrupt just for a minute to tell you about my family's hotel, Travelers Beach Resort. We are a 60-room Jamaican-owned and operated hotel located on the world-famous 7-mile white sand beach of Negril, Jamaica. My father started this property back in '94, and myself and my brothers Winfield and Wingate took over in 2011 after my father retired. Recently, we've made some upgrades to the property, particularly to our rooms. They've been redesigned and reimagined with comfort and style at the forefront. The textures, the light, the layout, each space was designed with intention, balancing modern touches with the familiar spirit of travelers. Our deluxe rooms and suites, which you are seeing on your screen now, have gone through an incredible transformation. We now have 2-bedroom suites available for your accommodations next time you're in Negril. We're especially proud of our gym. It's designed to give you a high-quality workout experience with premium equipment, plenty of space, and an energizing atmosphere. Our lounge has become one of the more popular public spaces, perfect for a family game night or catching the big game. Of course, our restaurant and bar is located right on the beach, so you can enjoy the most beautiful sunsets in the world. We look forward to welcoming you home. For more information, please visit www.tbr.travel.
Welcome home.
Sorry, thank you. I just realized no audio. Good thing you didn't hear me coughing. But I was welcoming everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Thank you all for joining. Sorry, we are starting later than normal, later than expected. But had to get it in. Didn't want to miss another Sunday live stream. Fix this. There we go. Cool. Hope you all had a good weekend and hung out with some people that you care about and enjoyed yourselves, got a little bit of rest. I had a good weekend, good few days of streaming. We had a great live stream on Thursday. Then we had a Throppers Think Tank yesterday, and I am here back today streaming with you for our normal Sunday live stream. And today we were originally had a different program set up, different agenda, but I got so many people who sent me this article that we're going to be reading today, particularly specifically about Negril and what's happening. I was like, all right, we're going to scrap what we had originally and we're going to talk about this. Unprecedented amount of people sent me this article, but I think it's very relevant to what we talk about on this channel and also relevant to where Negril has been in terms of the context in which we've been speaking about Negril. So good timing. If this is your first time visiting, my name is Winthrop Wellington, and here on my channel, we talk a lot about and all about Jamaica and investing here and moving here. And today, hopefully on the stream, you are educated at least a little bit on how to do that and also get informed about what's happening here in Jamaica. And today, specifically, what's going on here in Negril. We'll be talking a little bit about ThropX as well a little later, and giving. I guess we have a few updates we can bring to the table about ThropX, and we'll be bringing that to the table as well. And for those that are unaware, ThropX is my annual investment and Jamaica Investment and Real Estate Conference, and that's coming up in November 16th to 22nd. And if you want more information, you can go to thropx.com. So, of course, let me know what city, what state, what country you're chiming in from. I always love to hear it. I always love to see it. And I'm going to go through the comments real quick, and then we're going to get right into the article. I want to get into this within the first, say, 10 minutes of this stream. What's going on, Donna? Chiming in from Ottawa. Nice to have you. Happy Sunday to you as well. Jeff Rogerson, thanks for being a channel member. I appreciate your support. Happy Sunday to you as well. Justin, what's going on? Thank you for being a channel member as well. Good to see you. Shauna, thank you for being a channel member as well. Thank you for the support. Good to see you. Thanks for chiming in. Happy Sunday to you as well. What's going on, Chris? Big up Throp and Throp family from Strong Island. Strong Island is in the building. What's going on, Jay Fitz? Checking in from Atlanta, watching the football games. Yes, Jets did not do well at all. I thought you were watching the Cowboys Giants play. No, I'm a Jets fan, unfortunately. Donna Bryce, 2 p.m. Jamaica time. Yeah, there you go. We are here, though. Yes, and please make sure you hit that like button. Helps out a ton, whether you're watching this on the replay or you're here with us live right now. Really appreciate it. Hello again from Montgomery, Alabama. What's going on, Mario? Nice to have you in there. Mad Train, what's going on? Everything good, Throppy? Appreciate it. Chris is chilling on a rainy evening after a round of golf in Omaha. Okay, awesome. I saw your boy won last night. Congrats on that. Talking about the boxing match yesterday between Crawford and Canelo, which was awesome. Great fight last night. I thought it was like very, very tactical. I'm not sure how many boxing fans are there. What's going on, K Rose? Good to see you, man. Yeah, big fight last night. Huge fight last night. Did any of you guys catch the races today? Early this morning, I should say. Man, Jamaica killed it. We got some time. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But we're starting late, so I want to get into the meat of the matter. And so there's this article. I'll bring it up right now. I'll also throw it in the, hold on, let's see here. I'll throw it in the chat there if you want to take a look at it. And so this article is about Negril, and I actually haven't, I just glimpsed at it. I haven't kind of going to be reading it together for the first time. I prefer it that way, as a matter of fact. So let's just go into the article, and we will react and discuss after we finish reading the article together. And I would love, especially anybody who lives in Negril, been to Negril, I would love people's feedback on this. Excuse me, spinning all over the mic. I would love your feedback on this. Let me know how you feel. Agree, disagree. Any input would be appreciated here. And I think let's put it in this perspective. A lot of different types of people are going to watch this. I guarantee. And I think it would be kind of good to hear different people's perspective in writing, of course, here in the comment section. And it will kind of give a sense of how different people feel from different aspects of life, but ultimately people who love and adore Jamaica and hopefully love and adore Negril. So anyway, no further ado, let's get into the article. This article was in the Gleaner, came out today, Sunday, September 14th, and it was written by, I believe it was Janet Silvera. Let me just verify that. Always like to give credit. Yep. Always like to give credit where credit is due. Okay. So Negril is at a crossroads. Urgent calls to rescue resort towns, fading magic as tourist season shrinks. And we got Stephen Weinstein right there in the picture there. I'm just going to click through the pictures just so you can see, and we'll go into the article. So this is the proposed architectural rendition of the Negril Fruit and Vegetable Market downtown. This is, where is this? What? That's downtown. Literally downtown. This is like in back of us is Burger King. To the right is Scotiabank across the street. So if you kind of know where that is, where you see the Jamaican flag colors in the distance there, that is the Negril roundabout. This is the Verges. Very low signs of near the popular MX3. This is the Verges. The caption reads: a neglected drainage system, a broken garbage bin, and a scattered refuse in a section of the grill. This is near. If I remember, this looks like it's near Grand Pineapple. Hard to tell. I think down the road. This is on Norman Manley Boulevard, a desolate-looking town lacking its characteristic lively atmosphere it had years gone by. Excuse me. Norman Manley Boulevard in Negril, pothole-ridden. The medians, obviously, you can see not really being taken care of. This is right before Margaritaville. Margaritaville will be on your left. And this is somewhere down on the beach. This looks like this is by Lazy Days. It looks like it to me on the right. At least that's what it looks like to me. So those are the pictures. Let's get into the article itself. 40 years ago, Steve Weinstein first stumbled onto the sands of Negril and found a paradise that would change his life. Captivated by its 7 miles of white sand beach, rustic charm, and unhurried pace, he returned year after year until 23 years ago, he gave up the United States to call Negril home. Today, the American-turned Negril resident speaks with the devotion of a man who has lived his dream and the alarm of one who now sees the dream slipping away. For Weinstein, Negril is not just a holiday destination, it is the center of his life. Each morning, he wakes with his dogs by his side, looks out across the Caribbean Sea, and gathers ackee, guinnep, soursop, mango, and coconut water from his garden. Yet the town that gave him joy is now at what he calls a crossroads, a once iconic resort in visible decline, threatened by crumbling infrastructure, shortened tourist seasons, and neglect. This report comes not from the statistics or distance, but from nearly 40 years of walking Negril sands, living amongst its people and sharing in both its triumphs and its struggles, he told the Sunday Gleaner. The vision he paints is of a Negril restored, where families enjoyed sunsets and silky white sand and safety, where reggae thrives through both international artists and young talent, where visitors of every generation return again and again. Whenever I leave this earth, I'll know that I lived my dream in Negril and that I gave all my heart and vision to see this town thrive for its people, for its visitors, and for Jamaica. But Weinstein did not stop there. His tone shifted from poetic to urgent. Negril, once Jamaica's most celebrated destination, is in decline. Tourist seasons have shrunk from 5 months to barely 8 weeks. Infrastructure projects have crumbled, gone unfinished. Entertainment has grown stale. Safety is lacking, and younger visitors are not coming in the numbers we need. According to Weinstein, Negril is fragile. but not lost. With urgent coordinated action, it can be revived into a sustainable, family-friendly, year-round destination that uplifts both the community and Jamaica economy. We pointed to unfinished sidewalk. He pointed to unfinished sidewalk, drainage projects, dark beachfronts, the lack of festivals beyond a handful of repeating shows, and a visitor base that is aging out without being replaced by younger generations. He outlines a detailed blueprint for renewal, rebuilding infrastructure, strengthening security, diversifying festivals, empowering hustlers into small businesses, and branding Negril as authentic Jamaica all year long. Yet the wider picture shows Jamaica is not short of arrivals. Although the first 6 months of the year saw a decline of 1.3% compared to 2024, Sanctuary's International Airport welcomed 446,553 passengers in August 2025, up 5.3% over last year, nearly 1.74 million international arrivals in the first 8 months of this year. Still, Negril hoteliers described the summer as rotten, underscoring Weinstein's point that the problem is not getting visitors to Jamaica, but convincing them to make their 3 to 4 hour trek to Negril. Weinstein's alarm resonated with Daniel Grizzle, owner of Shirella Inn. He is right, Grizzle said. We are not doing enough. People don't first choose a hotel, they choose a destination. Jamaica must market Negril as one of the world's great beach resorts because that's what it is. For 30 years, 7 Mile Beach has been in the world's top 10. For Grizzle, Negril's greatest strength lies not in rooms or packages, but in human connection. Guests don't return because the hotel rooms are so great. They come back because of the people they meet and the friendships that they build. Some have been here 20 or 30 times. That's the magic. Ooh, lost my place. But like Weinstein, he laments the town's appearance. When guests step outside of the hotels, they see a filthy, shabby town. We can't defend that. Without adding one more room, Negril could increase inflows by 50% if the government simply fixed the basics: sidewalks, internet, garbage collection, build a park like Harmony Park in Montego Bay. The individuals are doing their best, but we cannot do it alone. Lambert Williams, a local tour operator who operates the popular Negril One Love bus crawl, sharpened the call. It takes 4 hours for a tourist to get from Negril to Negril from Sanctuaries International. There's a major turnoff. In a survey, 99% of the people we spoke with said they would pay $100 more for a direct flight. We need the promised airport now. If it takes the Chinese to build, own, and operate it for 20 years, so be it. They can get it done in months. Williams said new hotels are being built without any new marketing plan, creating oversupply and an issue he described as cannibalization. Harassment issue. He too noted Negril needs facelift, the sidewalks, the town center, the harassment issue. Tourists love Negril, but if we don't act, we will lose them. He also welcomed the rise of Airbnb. It's not a threat, it's the future. 36% of visitors staying in short-term rentals last year, and that will double in 7 years. All-inclusive won't die, but they must reinvent themselves, as Rio has done. People want luxury, yes, but also authenticity. Both can coexist, said Williams. And echoing Weinstein's call for community focus, Williams said, successive governments have been developing Jamaica for tourists, not for Jamaicans. That is a real problem. Fix Jamaica for Jamaicans first, and visitors will come. Jamaica is the greatest little brand in the world. We just need leadership to extract its full potential. Dalton Penny Hill, who has run the Lighthouse Inn since the 1970s, has lived every stage of Negril's evolution. In the hippie days, families rented out rooms to backpackers. That's where Negril started. He recalled back then government listened. Today, nothing moves. For the past 9 to 10 years, Negril has been neglected. We have been We've had crippling water shortages. Garbage is collected sporadically. Street lights don't work. The town looks like it's been left to rot. Jeez. Sorry to laugh, but that's some harsh words there. But it's reality. Hills Inn survives on loyal repeat customers from Europe who treat Negril as a pilgrimage. They keep us alive, but after March, business dies. September and October are dead months. Many small operators never recovered from COVID. Financing is impossible. Paperwork is punishing, and Kingston makes it harder. He said Negril needs a market, a cultural park, and an entertainment zone. We were once the reggae capital of Jamaica. Without venues, that reputation is gone. The tourist board should market small hotels too. Not everyone wants an all-inclusive. Some want authenticity, and that's what Negril still offers. For Weinstein, the stakes could not be clearer. Tourism is Negril's lifeblood, and its health is Jamaica's health. Every visitor sustains jobs, buys goods, and contributes. Sorry, I lost my place. I need to turn my phone off. Renewal short. What happens in Negro's tourism is Negro's lifeblood. Every visitor sustains jobs, buys goods, and contributes to the economy. What happens in Negril ripples ripples across Jamaicans' prosperity. Negril is not gone, but the window for renewal is short. The upcoming tourist season demands action. With leadership, and vision, Negril can once again rise as the Caribbean's most authentic cultural destination, a place of sunsets, music, and freedom that inspires the world. His vision closes with hope, but not without urgency. A reputation for a rustic, relaxing, fun-filled tropical playground must endure. Negril is at a crossroads. Jamaica must decide if it will save it. Earlier this year, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett reaffirmed the government's commitment to the development of Negril, highlighting major infrastructure investments to support the town's role in the island's tourism growth. Bartlett outlined a range of transformational projects, including improvements to water supply, roads, and accommodations. These efforts are designed to enhance Negril's appeal, sustainability, and economic impact. He noted that Negril contributes 24% of Jamaica's tourism traffic and earnings, calling it a vital part of the industry. A key initiative is a $221 million upgrade to the region's water system, the largest investment of its kind in Jamaica's history. The project will ensure consistent water access for residents and businesses, paving the way for future expansion. Additionally, a new bypass road is in the works, linking Montego Bay to Negril while easing congestion in nearby towns. This will improve accessibility for both locals and tourists. The government has already spent more than $500 million through the Tourism Enhancement Fund to improve local roadways, including the West End stretch. Negril's tourism infrastructure will also expand with the upcoming Viva Wyndham Hotel, adding 1,000 rooms to meet growing international demand. Other projects include the revitalization of the Negril Beach Park in the vein of the Montego Bay Harmonies Park, upgrades to the craft market and artisan village, and plans for a local airport. Bartlett's praised Negril's historical role in sustaining Jamaica's tourism sector in the 1970s and emphasized that these investments will ensure its continued success. All right. So lots to digest there. Lots and lots and lots to digest there. I mean, for the most part, everything that everyone said in this article is the reality of Negril and the sad reality. And the frustration comes in, and I want to be clear, like, I'm not here to point fingers or to blame anybody or anything like that. I'm here to talk about the reality that was expressed by the folks in this article, and then also share my own reality of my experience in being here and living here for 19 years. And I mean, ultimately, like, I'm at the end of the day, like, I ask myself, like, why is this? You know, why are we here? Why do we continue to be here? I know in the article, Penny had said nothing has happened in 9 to 10 years. I want to go as far as probably close to 20 years. Like, when we think about infrastructure in Negril, it just nothing has really shifted here, unfortunately, in the time that I've been here. To me, the if I would look at the two biggest things infrastructure wise that has changed in Negril would be the shared user path across the street, which I think I'm gonna share that with you now, just so everybody can kind of visualize what I'm talking about here. So the shared user path across that is a line that runs parallel to Negril Beach Road. Let me show you that. So this is Jamaica, and let me lower this mic a little bit. So this is Jamaica, and Negril is on the westernmost part of Jamaica on the left side of your screen. And this is the 7 miles of white sand beach here. And then as we go downtown here, this is the Negril roundabout, and we move to the west end. This is the west end of Negril, or otherwise known as the cliffs, right? And so this is the roundabout downtown Negril. And then as you go just over the South Negril River Bridge, this is the shared user path here, right? So this is, I guess, officially where it starts. And then it goes all the way up to Couples Swept Away. We're right here. So you got about, I would say just about 2 miles, right? And so that was one of the let me not stay on that too long. So that's like I would say the biggest change. And then also I think this was almost done. No, it wasn't done at the same time. But the other thing was the street lights, so, and also the medians, right? That was the other big change. So this is here at Travelers, and so we have medians. So there's 4 medians or crosswalks, dedicated medians and crosswalks in the grill along Norman Manley Boulevard, and there are, is it 4 traffic lights? And I can only think of 2. I could be wrong. We have a few traffic lights along the boulevard. I think it's 4. I think it's 4 if I'm not mistaken. 4 medians, 4 traffic lights. And so those are the 2 biggest infrastructure projects that I see. The medians in the middle of the street, and I know a lot of, like, I know taxi, and also the rumble strips that kind of came later, a few years ago. And these were needed. Like, it took so long for these to come into play and so many people to die. Honestly, that's just the reality. It was so many people died before we got these. And because this roadway, it turns into a racetrack. I mean, just people zooming up and down, and it doesn't matter. Obviously, it doesn't matter if you're a pedestrian or your driver or cyclist, whatever it is. People were getting hit and killed just so regularly. So these medians and the traffic lights have significantly reduced road fatalities in Negril, just tremendously. But that was, again, took a very, very long time. I would also say, so I mentioned the rumble strips. I think those are helping as well to slow down traffic and to slow down people from speeding. I'll also point to a couple of other road projects that were done. And I'm like, man, do I include these or not? As I'm kind of thinking about it, because it was also like, it was in response to emergencies, right? So the article alluded to one on the West End by, I think this is the one that they were talking about, that was by, it's by Vendors Plaza. So this is where the post office was. So this road was crumbling, like literally was like falling into the ocean. And then moving over to near Doc's Place, Patsy's, like this road, it had to be the worst road in Jamaica. Like, I don't think there was a road worse than this road. And basically they were for, I think, something had to be done. You know, there was no way that the road, it took forever of like the road had to be like, it was degrading, and people, it was just dangerous, and it was done. And so like I look at those, it's like those were like emergencies, and those were in response. These aren't like planned infrastructure improvements. I'll also even say, I'll even give this to them by the, if we go to, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but we're go like towards Sheffield. Some people would say this is not considered Negril. I would consider this to be Negril. So by the Negril, I don't know if you guys remember this, by the Negril Golf Club, maybe like 6 years, maybe a little bit more. Like when it used to rain, that place turned into a lake. And it was sometimes became impassable. So they redid this road, they lifted it, and then they fixed this road probably, I want to say, right up until Vista Bella, Negril Estate. That's where they fixed it. So I'd say those, I'll give that to them in terms of like if I'm thinking back and trying to be fair, like think back to like what has happened infrastructure wise in Negril in the 19 years that I've been here. Those are the handful of projects, if you will, that I will say when I say a difference has been made. But again, I'll put an asterisk next to the last three because those were again in response to emergency dire situations. And it also tells me it's just like, man, we just haven't been on the forefront of thinking of planning and development. And that's just like the reality. uh the gentleman, I don't remember which one of them said it, but they were talking about the entertainment. And it's also kind of crazy because you think that things should be getting better and improving. And we had some of these projects that I just talked about, but I'm just like, when I think about it, I was like, man, no, Negril was, I feel like Negril was cleaner before. I feel like the infrastructure was better, maybe because of it was just newer. You know what I'm saying? It could have been, it was 20 years younger 20 years ago, if you get what I'm saying. So in that sense, it was like it was a little bit better. And so, yeah, nothing has really. That's kind of ridiculous, kind of like as I'm thinking about it. Um, yeah, that's the only thing I think. I always say, like as I'm thinking now, like I'd say police station too. I don't know if you consider that infrastructure, but they got a like a technology unit, like to with the cameras and stuff like that, and they said they had some upgrade. Trying to think what I'm trying to think of things too. There was a I don't know if we want to put this in there. As I'm thinking about it, they redid the. If we go downtown here, am I still on the screen? Yeah. If we go downtown here and we go up Fire Hill Road, and so this is the Negril. It's supposed to be that they call it the Negril Stadium. I'm not sure what has happened in recent time, but this was supposed to have events here. So this is behind the police station, fire station area. And so there was, I don't think it was built, but like there was some sort of upgrade that was done to it. I know they did the basketball court. This was like back when I used to play basketball. So we used to play basketball here, but then the goats and the horses used to mess on it. So we stopped playing there. But that was, so there was, that's the few things I could say that I could think of that I would say I would give to Negril as far as if you would consider all of those to be infrastructure projects. But that's not saying much for 20 years. And then also just hopping back quickly to the shared user path, it's an incomplete project, which is the in many respects, as the article has alluded to, it tends to be the theme of Negril. Incomplete. The Negril roundabout, incomplete. The food and beverage market started, incomplete, just stopped, just completely stopped, forgotten about, not to be talked about, not to be, we're talking about it, but not to be continued. And this is just the reality. This is just the reality of living in Negril. This is just what happened. So the shared user path, this is supposed to go all the way up to Rio. The second Rio, past Long Bay all the way up to Little Bay. This is where it's supposed to end. This is what it was earmarked for, and it's supposed to be done, and it hasn't been done. It hasn't been completed. I'm not sure where those resources are. I'm not sure where it is on the totem pole in the pecking order of projects to do, but that is something that I think is very, very important for the future of Negril and also the culture of Negril. This is a fantastic element and add to Negril to have this, to see, talk about building a community, talk about having community and getting people together. That's what something like this does. That gives you a running club. That gives you a sense of community of seeing people in the morning walking and jogging and saying hello and saying good morning, and to have a safe place to do that, both a physically safe place that's off the road that you don't have to worry about of trying to do that on the soft shoulder or something like that, or got, even worse on the West End where there is no sidewalk, right? And it's great for the community. So that is incomplete. So it's it's like one of those things that, like, this is why I understand the frustration of the people here, and 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 trust me, I am frustrated too. And you just wonder, like, what's happening, and like, why does this continue to happen? Like, why does this continue to be the theme of Negril's history? Before I was gonna hop into the future, I want to touch on a few things that they said in the beginning of the article. So um I did want to touch on talked about Negro's entertainment, and it used to be the reggae capital of Jamaica. And I'm aged out of the nightly entertainment scene here, but I remember during I can't even say aged out because everybody goes to the reggae concerts that we used to have here. So Negril was known, and I don't know if it still remains true, that you can go and see a live reggae band on the beach any given night of the week. That was like one of the main things that we had going for us. And I even think as a kid, man, and young adult, I think I took that for granted. I think I really, really took that for granted. I didn't really understand like how special that was. That this is like the only place in the world that you can listen to a live reggae band any given night of the week. And again, that may still be true, but from what I understand is that quality has diminished, numbers of people going to these events has diminished, and it just isn't what it used to be. And this is coming from a person, a kid, a young person that used to go to like Alfred's on Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. I don't know if you guys remember that. Remember the bus? Um, I'm Roots Bamboo. I think Roots Bamboo is still going at this time. Alfred's not doing it anymore. But these were great times, and I think that's just such an important part about the grill culture, to have that, And I think again, I think I really, really took that for granted, for people to go and enjoy that. And the gentleman was Mr. Weinstein was alluding to that, right? And I'll also say along those lines, and along entertainment, and we also have to recognize we talked about this two, I think it was two live streams ago, about Negril losing two signature annual events, right? In Reggae Marathon and then also Dream Weekend. And that also plays into that. That also plays into less people coming to Negril, at least for those things, and we're not having those groups come in that we can anticipate for a certain period of time. I do think that there will be events that will take their place, so to speak, but nonetheless, we've lost that. I also want to speak to, which I think he made a great point about the aging demographic of Negril, and to the point of I had made in that live stream of Negril, Jamaica losing spring break, and we lose that funnel of young people coming to Jamaica. And you got to think that spring break is this introduction. And I'm not saying we need to go back to spring break. I am not saying that. I think we're past that. We're not a spring break destination. I don't want to be a spring break destination as a hotelier. I don't want to be a spring break hotel, even though that's what I would say, I credit a lot of travelers' success to being built off of is spring break, but we've matured past that. Well, my point here that I'm trying to make is that it got a lot, thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even over the many years, maybe even hundreds of thousands of young people, probably in the hundreds of thousands of young people who have come here for spring break and were introduced to Jamaica through spring break. And they're young college kids that have no money, that are paying for this really cheap trip for just for having to have a really good time. And when I'm talking about really cheap, I'm talking about back in the day, my day, $1,000, flight, hotel, drink, food included. Impossible in 2025, at least here in Jamaica, right? So they come here as 18 to 22-year-olds, staying at a hotel, maybe 4, 6 people, 8 people in a room, and they just get a little sip of the Kool-Aid, right? And Then they graduate, they start their careers, they start to make money. They get married. Maybe they come back as single to Jamaica. Maybe they get married, come back with their significant other, and they stay at maybe stay at a Sandals, right? And then after that, they have a couple kids. Then they stay at beaches because they bring the kids there. And so, and that this story could happen, has happened to travelers as well. We've had people who were kids as coming to spring break and now are coming back as adults and married and having kids and staying with us again and having just great memories of spring break and great memories of Jamaica, and they've fallen in love. They've got that bug for Jamaica, and the opportunity to get that bug and to drink that little bit of Jamaica Kool-Aid was because of spring break, was because of a young centered event or festival. And we don't have pipelines of such anymore. And so even with Dream Weekend gone, the same thing. And that was also one of my concerns, is we're losing a young person pipeline, a young people pipeline. And I talked to, and this is not unique for Negril, even some, I won't name the hotels, but like even some other hotels, I would say even higher end hotels in different parts of the island, this has become a problem that their clientele are aging out, and as Miss Penny was alluding to, and what Negril was built off of, the hippies and pitching tents and being a fishing village, that sort of thing. Those folks they're senior citizens now, and they've fallen in love with Negril, and there needs to be a plan of getting the younger generation into Negril so that they can continue to come back. And just like Mr. Weinstein, he's been here when he came here when he was 23. And Mr. Grizzle was saying that somebody, I forget the number, but people come back many times per year, 23, 30 times over their lifetime, whatever it is. And Negril, Jamaica is their special place. But there has to be an opportunity to introduce them to Negril and introduce them to this place. And I'm not necessarily saying that festivals or group party trips are the way to do it, but there has to be an intention in order to try to achieve that goal. Because otherwise, if we start aging out and we don't have younger people start coming in here, what are we going to do in 10 years and 20 years? We can't, even as much as now we're as a destination, I believe we are catering more to a mature demographic in terms of age, I would say. And even with I say this before, like Jamaica is turning into a luxury product. Luxury also equals more money. It's going to cost you more money to come here. Yes, but young people, generally speaking, don't have money. They don't have a lot of money. Going back to the college spring break students, they came here for $1,000, everything included. Like they scrapped that money together in order to make that happen. For the generalizing here, but for the most part, college students don't have money, but eventually they do. Eventually they get into their careers, they climb the corporate ladder, or they start their business and it starts to thrive. And then they have a lot more disposable income. But we gotta inject the bug. We gotta create an opportunity for young people to come here so they continue to come back over and over and over again. And I don't know what the exact statistic is for Negril, but I can speak to travelers. I dare I say like 60% of our business. One of my brothers can correct me on this, but definitely between 50 and 60% of our business is repeat customers. It's people who've been to Travelers already. Like that is the name of the game. I'm sure any hotel would have similar metrics in Negril. I think we have one of the highest repeat visitor rates in Jamaica, maybe even the world. For some reason, people fall deeply, deeply, deeply in love with Negril. As many challenges, as much as we have all these challenges with Negril, people fall so in love with Negril and they come back and come back. But we can't take that for granted. We can't take for granted that we can leave everything the same and people are going to come no matter what. And I feel like this has been the attitude, right? Is that we have been And I guess the incentive is lined up right there in that sense. Mr. Grizzle said in the article, we're constantly being put on top 10 beach in the world. And we're on this list all the time, year after year. And very, very little money is being invested into this goose that laid the golden egg. Some might argue nothing. When you compare what we produce and what we give back to the country in terms of revenue, Mr. Bartlett said I think he said 24% of the tourism revenue is generated from this little town of Negril. And yeah, like we're kind of given nothing, but we still continue to produce, and we still continue to perform, which is obviously very, very, very unfair. And it's very apparent when you look at our infrastructure that not much is happening here. And the infrastructure is one thing, but then you also look at like the management and like how the town is kept and the sustainability of just even picking up garbage. Like, it's terrible. Like, it really, really, really is terrible, unfortunately. And I hate to sound like I'm complaining all the time. This is not the first time that we've talked about this on this channel, but like, this is just the reality. I don't know what you expect me to say. This is just the reality of what's happening here. And I wish it wasn't like that. And there's not a lot of reasons as to why it's like that, because why it continues to be like that. Because the thing is, if you look at it from our perspective, who live here, people who have businesses here, you're seeing it's kind of almost like a bit of a slap in the face, right? You're seeing like all these, like, we're breaking these tourism record numbers. All these people coming to Jamaica, and the groundbreaking of this hotel, groundbreaking of that hotel, this being upgraded in Montego Bay, the resilient corridor with these lights on the highways and new sign in Montego Bay. And like all these great things that are happening in other parts of the country. You're seeing like things that we talk about, Drax Hall and all this stuff happening there. And you're like, and we get nothing. And like nothing happens here. Like, like literally, virtually, we got the Negril sign, which is great. Fantastic. Very, very grateful for. But you're just like, oh, this is great for Jamaica, but like we're here on the sidelines, we're doing our utmost as a town and community, as like private sector, right? Like you see a lot of small hotels. I can speak to small hotels. Lambert, Mr. Williams, he said in the article, he talked about real upgrading, and there's a lot of that. I see Royalton doing the same thing, and you're seeing the private sector continue to reinvest in their products. We're doing it here at Travelers. I know Shirelian has, Treehouse has, Coca La Palm has. These are just a few small hotels I can think off the top of my head that I know have done major renovation projects. I see Boardwalk is doing a major renovation project here as well. Footprints just basically dropped a new hotel just out of nowhere, redoing their entire property. So you see the private sector doing their job. You see us in those examples of Skylark just redid. There's Rock House that I'm just these are just coming to my head of like these different projects that small hotels have just doubled and tripled, quadrupled down on their properties and reinvested. And we want to give our guests the best possible experience. Like if you choose to stay in Negril and you choose to stay at one of our hotels, like that is, we feel special about that. And we want to ensure as best as we possibly can that you have a great experience and that we exceed your expectations when you stay with us. And in order to do that, we have to make sure that we have the best facilities that we possibly can, best service that we can possibly offer, showing the best Jamaican hospitality that there is. And we want to turn you into repeat customers, and we want you to fall in love with Jamaica. We want you to fall in love with Negril. And we're doing the best that we can in the private sector. And in doing so, we are creating the return customers, we're creating the return guests. And we just, you're not getting the return on that. Again, when you look at other parts, and I'm not saying that other parts of Jamaica shouldn't get infrastructure upgrades and they shouldn't be doing this and shouldn't have that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying sitting on the outside looking from the grill, we're just like, damn, like, all these great things are happening all over Jamaica, which I'm very, very happy for. And I think it's awesome and should continue that way. But man, what about us? I mean, and I'm talking about what about us for the 19 years that I've been here. I'm not talking about from yesterday. And again, as these, I can speak to these small properties as we continue to reinvest in our properties and do the best that we can. And that's also in turn earning more tax revenue for the government as well. Like, we're doing our job, we're paying our tax. Well, can speak to for us. I'm sure everybody else is too. But our tax revenue is going towards the upgrading and upliftment of Jamaica, like without question. And if we didn't do that, then we become uncompetitive, not only as a hotel, but we also become uncompetitive as a tourism destination. And it's just not a very fair relationship, is I guess is what I'm trying to say here. And especially when you compare it to other projects, infrastructure projects in other tourism destinations around Jamaica. And it's just kind of ridiculous when you really, really think about it. Like, it's actually crazy when you think about it. But uh it's frustrating. It just really is. And this article just really brings a lot of succinctly, in a very succinct way. And I thank Miss Salvera for bringing this to light, and everybody who contributed this article. But it's just very, very frustrating. um there's a couple of other aspects I want to talk about in the article. The you know the the incomplete projects too. I talked about the road, and I think this is where it becomes even more frustrating, because it's like, it's a bit of a slap in the face, right? The most recent one is the Negril roundabout. It's just ridiculous. Let me get to the comments. I've been talking forever. I'm gonna get to the comments in a second. So right after this part, like, you ask yourself, honestly, like, is this an election? Was it an election play? You have to ask that question. They start the Negril roundabout to refurbish it, and it just stops. I don't know why. Maybe there is a good reason. Maybe there is a very, very good reason as to why the the construction, and you can see, oh, sorry, that this project is not finished. Hold on one second. Which picture is it? Nope. Nope. Yeah, we just have, there it is. Sorry. You can't really see it. That's why. Um it's that project is just not finished. It's just sitting there months, 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 months. And then you have to question, is it going to turn into a Negril Beach Park? Negril Beach Park has been shut down, I want to say, for 7 years. Just nothing. Just absolutely nothing. Like, what is the reason behind this? Is like my question. Like, why hasn't I know there is a plan. We've been told there's been a plan for how long it's supposed to be Harmony Park and everything like this. But you gotta, people from the outside looking in that sit, like, maybe saying like, man, this guy complains a lot, or the girl complains a lot. You gotta understand that we've been sitting here, we've been promised that this park, I'm gonna specifically, this park was supposed to be done and was gonna be done how many years ago? And we don't have a park. We don't have a park for the kids of Negril to play, for people to hang out, for people to do barbecues or whatever they want to. It's just ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know. And you see, let me see. When was Harmony Park? Harmony Park, Jamaica opening. When was Harmony Park opened? Anybody know that off the top of their head? I feel like it was shortly after the pandemic. Let me bring this up. 23. Open 2021. So it's like that's my point. So there was a park that didn't exist before in Jamaica that was built and opened before Negril's Park was reopened after it closed. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, what? How is this possible? And the park, and it's still closed. It's still closed to this day. And we're supposed to get, do I believe that it's going to happen one day? Yes. Do I believe that plans are like we've been shown the plans? But again, going back to this article, um, we go to the fruit and vegetable market. They started clearing and doing all this. I mean, and it's years at this point, years and years. We've been shown this plan how many months ago? Nothing. Why? I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know what the reason. Again, maybe there is a great reason that I don't understand, that we don't understand as to why these projects were started and stopped. I know I know why they were started. They were started to shut us up, to show us that something's happening, and then they were stopped because I don't know why it was stopped. I know that's why they were started. There's no question. That's why they were started. But why they were stopped, I'm unsure. Like it's just mind-boggling. And this continues. This is a pattern. And again, for those people from the outside looking into Negril, like you got to understand our frustration, and you got to really look at it and think about, like, what if this was your town? What if this was a place that you cared about dearly? What if your livelihood depended on this, and you're constantly being told one thing, shown a little bit of it, and then it's just yanked away and it just disappears and it just doesn't, not talked about. And it just happens over and over again, just continuously, just always and forever in your experience and your lifetime. And that's our experience. That's our reality here in Negril. And that's again where the frustration comes from, and the frustration lies. Let's get to some comments here. Like I said, I've been talking probably for too long on this. Definitely want to hear from you all. Where do we stop here? Matthew says, on the contrary, I think Jamaica needs a chill tourist area, not the hype of Mobe or the oversaturation of Oshi. Sometimes lack of spotlight makes an area more unique, more authentic. I mean, I feel you, but you can have authenticity and streetlights at the same time. You have authenticity and garbage skips and clean streets and sidewalks and decent roads to drive on at the same time. I don't mean to be like, facetious or anything like that, or but I'm just saying, like, both can be done, and I'm not necessarily advocating for overdevelopment, or too much development, whatever you want to call it. But we're looking for the very, very basics here. And I could be reading your comment out of context. It could have been after, it could be from a while ago when I was reading the article. Let's see what else going on. Shauna says, I agree that both hotels and Airbnb can coexist. It gives people options, especially who wants longer stay. Short-term in Negril. Airbnb options can be more feasible financially. I love Airbnb. I think it's great. I think it's also an opportunity to get younger people here as well. People renting a house, or I was going to say renting a house, splitting it among their friends, but then you also have an option of renting just a room in somebody's house. It gets you here. It gives you the opportunity. I was having a conversation with a member of a board member of the Negril Chamber of Commerce, and we were talking about this very same thing of trying to get younger people here. I also think the accommodations have a lot to do with it as well. It's just going back to my earlier point of Jamaica in general just being
moving in a luxury direction, but it's just in general, it's an expensive destination. It's when you compare to what would I compare? South like going to South America or to the Asia probably is too far, but you go there and it's just it's far cheaper. Or even other islands are just far more affordable than Jamaica is. And again, speaking to that younger demographic, it's just less likely that we're going to be getting like 22-year-olds spending $200 or $300 a night at a hotel. They just, generally speaking, again, they just don't have it. They just don't have it. But we need to create that younger funnel of people coming in. Shauna says, what are your thoughts on the gradual decline of Negril's charm? Define Negril's charm. Shauna, I would love to know what you mean by that. James says, no lies detected from his statement, referring to the article. Donna Bryce, Negril does need to revitalize its live music offerings. It's true, the renovations at the roundabout seem to have stalled. A general facelift is needed. Negril straddling two parishes hurts. I think, as I asked the question why this is, I think that plays into it. Quite honestly, I think that plays into it in a major way. Peter Hill, logistics. Lucy needs a bypass, and the planned airport is imperative. Secondly, politics. That sign is not Negril, it's Hanover. It's Hanover. But why? That's where the all-inclusive resorts are. I mean, that is Negril. I mean, there are many hotels in Negril. Like if you think Hanover, Hanover border is probably technically at Long Bay Beach Park, and you think Jam West, Azul, Sandals, Hedonism, Royalton, Rio 1, Rio 2. Those are, for the most part, and then Swept Away as well. Those are like all the all-inclusives that is still in Negril, but in Hanover. So I would definitely still consider that to be Negril. Suzette Finn says, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you as well. Matique says, Jamaica, unfortunately, is still in its infant stage of development and 13 years of fiscal discipline with strict IMF rules to decrease capital expenditure and infrastructural developments is the reason. Right. But there are other parts of Jamaica, as I made my point earlier, that are just miles ahead of Negril infrastructure-wise. The only traffic lights are Swept Away and Rondell Village. Police traffic stops in Negril. No, there's Swept Away, Rondell Village, and then also by Legend. So there's 3. Yeah, we got three traffic lights. I think I said 4. Matique says, I guarantee this decade is going to be different in terms of infrastructure development for Negril, St. Thomas, and Portland especially. I'd like to believe so, but I think I've made the point of the pattern that we've been experiencing, at least for the lifetime I've been living in Negril, and probably for much longer for many of the people who've been here a lot longer than I have. Jonah says, the medians on the road need to be fixed and more visible for night driving. It can create preventative accidents, specifically by Skylark. Yes. So so Sean's raising a very good point here. Let me bring back the map to the stage. So when the medians in Negril, when they first came here, they were, so let's go to the one in front of Travelers, sorry, here. So they had so many reflectors, right? And so all along here, this triangle here, there were reflectors that were actually standing up, not in the ground, like literally, like almost not cones, but they were like long sticks with a red reflector on top on both sides of this, plus reflectors in the road, plus reflectors in the medians themselves. And once they were ran over, weather declined, whatever happened and they degraded, like there was nothing done. They were never replaced. They were never replaced. And that's one thing that I'll also have to say. I think this is a general Jamaica problem. Is there are good ideas and good things that are done, projects that are done, but there's no plan for sustainability. There's no plan for how the upkeep of these. What is the budget going to be that we're allocating every year to repaint these lines, to put back in the reflectors that obviously are not going to last forever? We do that every single year because like this is lives that we're talking about. This is people's vehicles that we're talking about. And this is also, a lot of people may hit these and burst their tire. That's going to affect the economy of the country, and it's going to affect the microeconomy of Negril when things of that nature happen. So why don't we put in preventative measures to allow us to avoid these situations? So you're right. That better upkeep needs to be had with those medians. Peter Hale says, politics is destroying the grill. That sign is not okay. I read that already. Another comment from Peter Hill. All the ideas being implemented on the West End, the 7 Mile Beach is being strategically ignored. Think about it like destabilizing a country to keep minimum wage disturbingly low. And I don't want to. I don't want to get into a thought pattern of that nature. And that's like when I first moved to Negril. This is the mindset, and I'm not doing this to silent you out here or single you out here, Peter, but when I moved to Negril in 2006, it was very much a beach versus West End. It was the craziest thing. And it's not like that now. It's not like that now. We can do a better job of coming together. Trust me, we can do a way better job, but it's way better than it was when I first moved here. And at the end of the day, like it's one Negril and we're one town and we're one community and we all need to look out for each other. And it should, I don't, being somebody that lives on the beach and has a property on the beach, I don't feel as if there is a focus on the West End. And the West End and the beach, they have different challenges, but then also we have we have the same challenges at the end of the day, and both feed each other. Both feed each other at the end of the day, and a town as a whole, it just, as somebody wrote in the comments, it needs just to be uplifted completely. Joy Turner, happy Sunday to you as well. Jeff says Negril needs to autonomous. That way, new bylaws needs to be autonomous. That way, new bylaws can come into force building owners to clean up their properties. The roundabout area is a disgrace. Absolutely, it is. Alfonso West says, Throb, what's up? I'm not being political here. I actually never voted in my life, I think you meant to say. But to be honest, here, the people in Western Jamaica voted against their interests for decades and still doing the same today. I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna necessarily comment on that. At the end of the day, like I said before, I'm not here to point fingers or to blame people or anything like that. It's more so, I'd say the idea behind today's stream is to like share the thoughts of the people in this article, and then also share my lived experience being in here in Negril for almost 20 years. And I don't care who, at this point, I don't care whose fault it is. I'm just like, who's going to fix this? What group of people is going to ensure like we're going to move forward with these projects? And how do we move forward as a community? How do we get the road fixed? I mean, we're going to get into the future because like there is a lot of things that have been promised and have already been earmarked and signed off of, and we are very excited about that. But again, if we can go back to the pattern of experience that I have had in the 19 years I've been here, and the many people in the article who've been here much longer than I have, it's great. It's great, but at the end of the day, it's like this talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. And we've been sitting here a long time. Just unfortunately dealing with a lack of action. And I think it's clearly evident that that has been the history and that has been the reality of this community. James Apple says, I'm surprised the walking path to go to Little Bay or at least near the large Negril sign. Yeah, that might be actually that's a good idea. It probably needs to go all the way now. But when it was so James' comment is saying he's surprised that the path has not been designated to go all the way up to the Negril sign. So what I was saying earlier is this walking running path here that runs parallel to Norman Valley Boulevard. It goes all the way up to Couple Swept Away. And it stops there. Hold on, I might have gone too far. But Couple Swept Away, let's say it's right here. But it's supposed to go all the way up to the second Rio. But when it was designed and when it was signed off of, the grill sign was never there. So that's I would say that probably needs to be readjusted. And the path, absolutely, you're right. It should go all the way to the Negril sign. It just makes complete sense, as a matter of fact, because then you'll get people at Rio who are staying there who can walk there, or people who are live at Little Bay, are staying there, Airbnb or whatever, can walk to the sign safely. So good point. Good point. Rich Coven says, whoever's in charge is relaxing. Seems like it. Alfonso says Western Jamaica voted for one political party for decades and nothing got done in their communities, yet they voted for some MPs in government. I mean, I say, so let's finish up your comments here. The plan this present government has for Western Jamaica is going to change the face of Western Jamaica and what the people in Western Jamaica did. They voted against the government. I say, like, there's new government here in the West. It's like, these are our guys. I said this before. These are our guys. They're the ones who are going to be going to bat for us in Parliament, and they have been chosen by the people to represent us and represent our voice. And I speak for myself, like, going to support them. I mean, it'd be shooting ourselves in the foot, I would say, as a community, if we didn't support them. Like, we have to, it would be asinine for us to, like, work against them, because they're the ones representing us, and we got to give them whatever support that they need to get the simplest of projects done that have been sitting here, that have been for, like I said, that beach park been there 7 years, the food and vegetable market, months and months and months and months. Now we got the Negril roundabout that is just sitting there. That's, I don't know, half done, quarter done. I don't even know where it is, but it's not complete. And it's just another project. I mean, I guess we're used to it at this point. It's another project that has started and not completed. In respect to the projects that are coming to this area, we're going to get to that. We're very excited for that. We're very excited for that. But action. Finish the job, James, as they say. Sidewalks Jamaica should be a whole project. Jem says, all my peoples from America love Negril, and it's only going to get better. Rich Coven says, too bad Throp isn't in politics because he is tapped in. Yeah, we're not going down that. No politics over here. Alfonso continues, can somebody explain this to me? The development that's coming to Western Jamaica is massive, a new international airport, an urban center, a beach park, water and road, yet they voted against that. I mean, why people voted for who and what, that's on them. But to your point about the projects that are coming here, I will say, and I think so, it's a double-edged sword that we're talking about here. So obviously here now, this article is talking and lamenting about the current situation that we find ourselves in, and also the historical experience that we've have and continue to have even up until now, right? And that is a lived reality of every person in that article. That is my lived reality, and there isn't anything that they have stated in the article that I disagree with. It's the truth. It is the harsh truth. It's the harsh reality that we all live in. Now, in looking to the future and looking forward, and every single project that you have laid out here, Alfonso, we have talked about and we have been anticipating on this channel, right? And I believe, I believe in my heart of hearts, like this stuff is going to happen. I do believe it. I do believe it, right? I believe a lot of people are betting on these things that this is going to happen, right? And when I think about and when I hear about different property acquisitions that are happening in Negril, and it's happening, commercial real estate properties, people are buying land in Negril, building homes, selling them, renting them out. There is a belief in all of these projects. I'm telling you, people are betting and trying to get in early. I personally believe it's a smart move. It's a smart move. I mean, one of any of these projects mentioned would be huge and game changer in their own rights. But International Airport, Urban Center, Beach Park, Water, Road, humongous, humongous. I know the water, from what I understand, the water project has already started. I think it's going to take 3 years, $230 million. I don't think anything has happened with the urban center that I'm aware of. The international airport, from what I understand, is pretty advanced, pretty advanced in its planning stages. There's a lot to go through from an environmental standpoint, and I get all that. I can only imagine the logistical hurdles that you have to go to in order to get an approval for an airport, all those things. Beach Park, I don't want to talk about that anymore. And the roads, from what I understand, we've already been earmarked to do basically from downtown all the way up to Swept Away, which is the worst part of the road in Negril. It's horrific. So people, companies, investors, they are betting on all of this stuff. And then also, mind you, another thing that people are betting on like crazy, which doesn't necessarily cost any money infrastructure wise, is the new building development order. That is going to be, I think, one of the biggest game changers for Negril. When that's coming out, I don't know. We have confirmed for ThropX 2025, Mr. Leonard Francis. He is the CEO of NEPA, which is National Environmental Planning Agency. And for what falls under that is the NGALPA, but the Planning Authority, which is if you're building anything in Jamaica, you have to go through the Planning Authority. If you're building anything in Negril, you have to go through the Negril Green Island Planning Authority, otherwise known as NGALPA. Very, very, very important organization to understand the rules and understand if you're going to be doing any sort of development. It doesn't matter if you're building a house or a hotel or a commercial center. You have to go through these authorities in order to get approval for your building and for your construction. So will there be breaking news at ThropX this year about the new development order? I don't know. But if you have questions, you can come and you can ask Mr. Leonard Francis yourself, and we'd love to have you. November 16th to 22nd here in Negril at Travelers Beach Resort, ThropX, and you can go to thropx.com to find out more information. Rich Coven says Negril needs a new festival of sorts. I think Negril is very much open for that. It doesn't necessarily even have to be a party festival. There's a couple of annual parties that happen here, like Different Strokes. That's the only one that I can remember. Oh, wait, hold on. I think I remember. White Diamond is another one. I can't even remember the name of the other ones. And then there's like Mocha Fest, which is like a multi-day. That's more of a festival. Like that's a multi-day festival that comes to Negril. But Yoga retreats, I think, would be good. I mean, there's so many things that you can do, and with, say, Dream Weekend gone, with Reggae Marathon gone, those are like iconic weekends that are open for the taking, that have a proven track record of working, and, go to town entrepreneurs. Matthew says the Waves 5K has potential for Negril, but they shouldn't compete with the biggest distance run event on the island. Find a boring day out of 365 and make it have its own energy. So this is talking about, this is the good point there, Matthew. So this is talking about an event that is now replaced Reggae Marathon here in Negril, and it is a 5K, but I think it's the same as you. I'll go off your word. It's the same day, same weekend as a Reggae Marathon, which will be in Kingston this year. Rich Corbin says Miami is doing so much to stop spring breakers. That's JA's opportunity. I don't know about that. One Coco investors, I like that. There needs to be more condos and on the other side of the beach with entertainment clubs, including prepare to order restaurants below. That's a start. I think that's a huge opportunity. I don't know why. I think Mr. Issa's son is doing but he's doing luxury apartments, luxury homes on the other side of the beach. But I think that's a huge opportunity to do condos like across the street. And I think that brings in, oh man, I think people would love to stay here, like anywhere along this boulevard. I do believe that that's what's going to happen. Is this like you got all of the hotels on the beach, but then you got people living across here on the condo side, because there's a lot of opportunity for that. There's a lot of little slits of land that are available. So I think that's a great thought. The manuscript says, I just joined. How is Jamaica becoming a luxury market when we are a mass tourism market in the main? Please clarify. Please clarify. I'm not sure exactly what you mean there. And he says, every parish in Jamaica needs to be treated like a local economy. Absolutely. Vegas is known for gambling. NYC is known for finance, etc. Jamaica has 14 parishes to have their own pull factor of drawing people. I believe Montego Bay is going to become the gambling capital of Jamaica. I think that's where that place is going. Alfonso West says, the good thing is we have a great prime minister who doesn't see color or party. He truly loves every single Jamaican, and I'm confident all the planned projects will move forward. I'm confident too, but still, we got to keep talking about it. Very large repeat guests at Travelers and Negril, definitely. Alayla says the people there are the problem. The mentality that they have is what's keeping them stuck. It has to do with the government on that side. They don't want progress. Look at Jamaica and the places that aren't developed because of the government in those places. Westmoreland, Hanover goes against their interest every time. Manuscript says, how do you modernize? How do you see the modernization of Negril enhancing or harming the unique, laid-back Negril? I mean, Negril needs some Negril does need to modernize. But it doesn't necessarily have to be to the point where Negril loses its charm, right? I look at Tulum, a destination that we are directly competing with. Similar setup that we have in terms of you have a strip of beach, you have the road, then you have the morass, let's say, much narrower than our Norman Manley Boulevard is. It's not a highway. They have speed bumps, much slower movement in that sense, but their product is just more. It's just more modern. It's just like overall, they just have a much more modern product than we do. They have better infrastructure than we do. They have better roads, better systems, just more consistency. in terms of the service that you get, the products that you experience as you walk along the beach, as you walk along the road, let's just say to go to a store or something like that. And we don't have that. We don't have that. But I think if we did, it would very much complement what we are already bringing to the table, which the article is saying, which is an authentic Jamaican experience. And we never want to lose that, no matter what, no matter how far into the future that we move, because that is our competitive advantage and will always be our competitive advantage, because you cannot duplicate that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Negril is Negril. Jamaica is Jamaica. And once you start to mess with that, or once you try to become something that you are not, or look at another area and become that from a cultural perspective, then you become like everybody else. So my point is like there are good things that are happening in Tulum that I would like to adapt here, and there are things that we have here that in no way a Tulum could try to adapt, nor would they be even they couldn't adapt it, and then you just can't get the same feeling and experience that you get here in Negril. And I think that speaks to why we have such a high level of repeat customers and repeat guests coming back, is because of the authentic Jamaican experience that people receive here that they can't get anywhere else. I was on the Throppers think tanker call yesterday, which was wonderful. And we were just talking about different parts of just different Caribbean islands. Won't name the Caribbean islands, but there's just the conclusion was is like there's just something about Jamaica, right? And there's just something about the culture, and it's just like a multitude of weapons, if you will, that we have. I think, you know, with our like first and foremost, like just the people, and for better or for worse, like the attitudes as well. Like there is a, and I don't mean attitude like in a negative attitude. It's just like in the attitude and like how we carry ourselves. I think there's a lot of weight to that, and you experience that through like every aspect of life in Jamaica. Like whether you're going to the bank and going through talking to a security guard, or you're down at a restaurant speaking to a waiter, and this is like how we communicate and how it's like it's like Jamaicans are always going to be Jamaicans, and it doesn't matter. Jamaicans are always going to be Jamaican, and it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. And I think that is just so awesome. That is so awesome. And obviously, that comes in the context of professionalism, especially in the hospitality industry. But it's just so authentic, and it sticks with you, and you appreciate it, especially when you're coming as a visitor, right? And I think it's wonderful, and I think it's something that we need to like very much double down on, and also just protect as much as humanly possible. And we can do infrastructure improvements between the road, between different hospitality products that we have to offer, and still maintain that authenticity, right? And so that's just kind of a off the top of my head response to your question there. Throp, you just interviewed the PM. This is from Alfonso. You just interviewed the PM, and he told you a lot is on the horizon for Negril. Yep. And I believe it, but it's also like I definitely believe it, right? Like I'm not trying to sit here and say that I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it's important to, as I have and have been doing with this article, I think it's important to acknowledge the experience, the lived experience of everybody in this article, which I have vehemently concurred with. Like, and that's just the lived reality. Do I believe these things are going to happen? Yes, absolutely. But I don't think it's going to happen if we just sit here and we just let destiny play itself out. I don't think it's going to happen in a timely manner. I think it's something that we need to be on top of. And just like any good citizen, we want to hold our leadership accountable. We want to hold our leadership accountable. And I think the leadership welcomes this sort of thing, and welcomes this level of engagement and enthusiasm and pride for country and pride for community. And so I think it's a good thing at the end of the day that discussions of this nature are happening and that articles like this are being put out because, again, this is our reality. Rich Coven says, making a list of these hotels you're mentioning. Great hotels. Great hotels. Matthew says, the political views left from Michael Manley still live on in the West Coast. Michael helped Hanover a lot with the farm work parameters, and a lot of Jamaicans still vote by legacy. The man we saw that in the election just a couple weeks ago. The manuscript says Negril has more of an ecotourism type of vibe. Modernization, in my mind, should be invisible and serve to sustain that model rather than shift towards mass tourism or contemporary nature. Alfonso says the people of Jamaica in general have to start holding their MPs to account. If they're not performing, vote them out and stop letting them buy your votes, people. Yep, like I said, got to hold them accountable. Bamsel says, any update on the Negril Airport? No updates for you at this time. KJ Martin says, you know what Negril suffers from? People in Kingston feel like when the government spend on a resort areas for tourists and not locals. So that was alluded to in the article. And I think that and I said that, I think it was the last live stream that I did. I said the same thing. Is like, it's so important to invest for the locals. I think it has to be that way. Like I look at Thailand, right? I was just in Thailand, right? And you look at like their infrastructure and they have great infrastructure and they didn't invest in that infrastructure for visitors. They did it for their people. I mean, they have great public transportation with their, I think they call it the SkyTrain, bus system, taxis, as well as the like traditional taxis, motorcycle taxis. And they did this for their people. And because they focused, I don't know the history, but it seems like because they focused on their people and the movement of their microeconomies, it attracted a wide network of tourists from all over the world that also benefit from it. And so I 100% agree with what you're saying here, KJ Martin, as well as I forget who it was in the article that said the similar situation. Like it's going to benefit everybody, and I think putting residents first, it's going to that's how it's going to benefit tourists. Rich Corbin says right after Harmony Park was done, they should have done a Negril version. Man, you telling me? Oh, sorry. Shauna says, I'm enjoying this intellectual rant. Just don't fully crash out. I'm glad you're getting out of your system. Feel better now. I do feel better after getting all this out of my system. I definitely feel better. Latinum says, Throp, you had the prime minister on your platform recently. I think you were too easy on him. That was the right opportunity to get real answers. Colleen Whitmore says, so true. Perhaps I could have asked harder questions. 2020 is hindsight, but I could have probably done a lot different. And yeah, it would have been great to get some timelines. It would have been great to get some timelines and to get a better understanding of when these things are happening and when they may come to light. But we live and we learn. Thank you so much, Jeff Rogerson, for the donation there. Appreciate it very much. Peace and love to you as well. Let's see. Jeff says younger people going to DR or Cancun. That is so true. I don't know. Is Cancun cheaper? Does anybody know the answer to that? Is Cancun cheaper than Jamaica? I know Tulum is very expensive. I found that place like New York City expensive, maybe even beyond, actually. Very expensive. The hotels were up there. Every meal we had and drink was Manhattan prices. And I mean, we were just walking on the beach, just going to random places. So I don't know if we just inherently chose the wrong places. We were looking to, no, we did extend. I remember we were looking to extend at the hotel that we were staying at. It was like, I don't know. It was a small boutique hotel on the beach. I think they were asking like $500 a night. And I was like, my God. A non all inclusive, mind you. Nice hotel, but it was just like a yoga type hotel. Very, very nice. But we found one, couldn't find anything cheaper than $250 a night. Just like a short ride down. But just as nice, super modern. But everything on that strip, you're not paying. At least when I was there, this is October 2023. Cheapest hotel you were finding there was on the beach. That is was $250 a night. And trust me, I looked and looked and looked. So it's kind of expensive over there. So I know DR is cheaper than Jamaica, no question. For sure, is it's much more affordable there, and it's probably getting those young crowds. And I believe they do spring break in both DR and Cancun. The manuscript says, "Convince me that Jamaica is moving towards luxury market in general. 1,000 hotels is being constructed as we speak." I mean, I'd say you kind of just hit one of my points there, which is the hotels. Like every hotel that is being built in Jamaica is 5-star plus. I mean, every hotel, every groundbreaking that you're seeing the Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism at, and ribbon cutting ceremony, these are not 2-star, 3-star hotels. Every single one of them are. I don't know why I remember this, but I think Jeff was saying at like the Princess Hotel is like $500 a night. And it's like, and it's a luxury hotel. These are luxury hotels, and those are kind of the price points that you're going to be coming in at. I also look at, so your luxury, you're attracting clientele, a higher level income level of clientele in general, with these thousands of rooms that are coming here. Princess, the article talked about the Wyndham coming here to Negril. I think that's 1,000 rooms, if I'm not mistaken, in itself. So those people have money. I look at the investment that has happened and continues to happen at Sanchez International Airport, Montego Bay Airport. That is a very modern facility, both departure and arrival. I also state, like, if you look at the investment in the lounges, it's Club Mobay, excuse me. If you look at Club Mobay, they have reinvested in the lounges. Like, when you think of lounges, like, again, you think of people with Amexes, Chase Reserve cards, that are credit card and financially savvy, and finance savvy, I should say. And those people are travel savvy. They are travel conscious people who probably travel regularly. And I won't put a dollar figure on their annual income or net worth, but it's higher. It's up there, And when I see these things, those types of facilities are attracting those types of demographics and those types of people. Even some of these infrastructure projects that we're talking about here, this is all to accommodate and goes in line with those folks. And it also comes with, when you have these folks who are coming to these luxury properties and staying and paying $1,000 a night, $800 a night, whatever it is, and staying at these beautiful 5-star hotels, there's going to be a certain percentage of them that are going to fall in love with Jamaica and say, hey, maybe one day I can live here. Let me check out the real estate market. Let me come to ThropX and see what is available for my level of comfort and also my lifestyle. And so that in turn is going to create a market for people living at a certain level and a certain lifestyle. And you're seeing that happen in the real estate market like you've never seen before. There are more and more luxury apartments, luxury homes, luxury developments happening all around Jamaica. I mean, the North Coast is just a ridiculous example of what I just said. This year in TropX, we are going to Treasure Beach. We're going to the South Coast on one of the 2 days of our real estate tour. And we're going to be looking at some luxury properties and a luxury development. And these things are beautiful. They're gorgeous. And there is a a high demand for these types of investments. And with all of the things that unfortunate craziness that is happening all around the world, people are looking for safety in their investments. They're looking for a peace of mind. They're looking to get away from a lot of the madness that is happening around the world. And thankfully, Jamaica is a place, an island that is not in, we're not at war with anybody, nor are we on the brink of war. Like, we don't have any enemies of that nature, if you will. So, and then you look at I know this wasn't your question, but you look at the things that are happening from a macroeconomic standpoint. I mean, we are doing exceptionally well. I mean, I would not be surprised if we are upgraded in the next 12 to 18 from the Moody's rating upgrade. I wouldn't be surprised if we get upgraded in the next 12 to 18 months. Would not be surprised because we continue to do exceptionally well financially and economically. And we have been on a path and we're going to continue to be on this path as we move forward. And we're going to attract more investors. We're going to attract people who are financially savvy. We're going to attract in institutions that are financially savvy. They're going to continue to invest in Jamaica. And there are going to be certain expectations that come along with that infrastructure wise. And it's, again, moving along these lines of luxury. The manuscript continues. Jamaica is a market that caters to all pockets. A round hill client is not going to real. Agreed. Sandy B says Westmoreland need political rep with a desire to see growth in the West. Negril has a lot to offer. We need people like you, Throp, to get things up and running. Oh, I'll bring the stories to the platform as I'm doing now. Absolutely. Jay Fitz says developers take investors' money, start and stop. The government takes taxpayer dollars, start and stop projects. There are houses all over the Jamaica where construction starts and stops. Is this cultural? That's funny. Maybe. Never looked at it like that, Fitz. Never looked at it like that. That is funny. Good observation. KJ Martin says, while Throp complained about Negril, I complain about downtown Kingston and the market space and how terrible it is. It is the one place vloggers go to show the worst of Jamaica. Ah, I see what you're saying. I don't know too much about it. I know more about it from the perspective of watching the vlogs that you're referring to. But yeah, it looks like they could use some help over there for sure. Jordan says, Negril charm. Negril is known as the capital of casual. I think it's way too relaxed and I think it's a way too relaxed and rejuvenate. However, the decline of the physical aesthetics, potentially lackluster customer service, being overworked, increasing borderline harassment versus genuine hustling, selling one's product. However, I think the people spirits need to be restored / uplifted somehow to bring back that vibrancy. Well said. Christy Diaz, the party in power will always support their own MPs. Mobe MPs get stuff done as their party's power. It should not be this way. I hope it's not that way. I hope it doesn't. I hope we're moving into a different era. and it's not that way, and like going back to it's kind of going back to something I said on, I think, last stream or the stream before. And even though this has been, in terms of what we've been talking about today, this has been the way it has been, I would like to think that we're moving into a new phase of Jamaica where it won't be that way. Fingers crossed. And that we are advancing and maturing as a country and as a society. Sophia Jackson says, big up, Throp and family. Thanks again for always keeping us enlightened on what's going on in Jamaica. Had a cousin just returned from Montego Bay and was told not to leave the resort because it's dangerous. This really upsets me because Jamaica is no more dangerous than some places here in the US. Why are these resorts doing this to keep the money there? No, I don't know what hotel that was said, and I've heard this from a lot of people staying. I'm assuming they stayed at an all-inclusive hotel, and I think it's maybe they're scared that when they get outside of the four walls of the hotel, that they're actually fall in love with Jamaica. But I think that's a silly thing to tell your guests. Maybe it's a liability thing. I don't know. But we here at Travelers, we're the exact opposite. We believe, and I think I can speak for most of the small hotels here, and especially the hotels that I reamed off earlier, the small hotels that I reamed off earlier. We firmly believe that to have a truly authentic Jamaican experience, you have to get outside of our hotels. If you're going to fall in love with Negril, if you're going to fall in love with Jamaica, it's not necessarily going to happen because of only being here at Travelers. It's going to be walking down the beach and having a drink at another bar, or having a meal at another restaurant, going on an excursion, going to Rick's Cafe, going for a run on the shared user path, but exploring and making Negril your own, right? And I believe that that is like one of the best competitive advantages that I could say that Negril has, is the ability of autonomy and the ability to have agency over what you do in Negril and how you do it. And you can find your own lane very easily because of the ease of mobility here. The ease of, if you're staying on the beach, the ease of walking outside your hotel or going on the beach and walking up and down the beach, meeting people, having a grand old time. Same if you're staying on the West End. You can just get out, have a walk, go out, walk, and you'll be perfectly okay. You'll be safe. Somebody might harass you, try to, in the sense of trying to sell you something. That's probably the worst thing that's going to happen. You say no and you keep it moving. And you get to make it your own, and you get to create your own Negril reality, your own Negril vacation. You may continue to go to the same bar every day, year after year, building relationships, building friendships. And this to me is like one of the greatest aspects of Negril, and one of our biggest competitive advantages is having the ability to do that. It's a shame that people tell their guests not to go out, and you're missing out half of the experience. You're missing out of great restaurants that you can go to, great bars, great people that you can meet outside of your hotel's walls. Just checking the time here. All right, Ronnie says, "Hey, all checked earlier. Check back, and voila, Toronto East Side here, catching up on the topic. We'll have read the article later. Cool. Teak said Jamaica needs another source of USD foreign exchange that brings in much of the money as tourism. Then you'll see capital expenditure and on multiple big projects at once. Right now, we rely on tourism too much." Alfonso says, "Stop. Sorry to push so much political comments, but I actually sent them when you was reading the article. No problem. Appreciate them no matter what." All right, festivals. Look up House on the Beach that just took place. Misty posted videos on Capital of Casual. Gloria Jackson Miller. It is supposed to be laid back with needed hospitality, but when it becomes too Western, we don't want to the coldness replacing good vibes of the Jamaican people. Patrick Dunbar says Thailand don't have the PNP who always stands in the way of development. Elaine Bradley said, yes, I agree. We tend to focus more on tourists year after year, forgetting that our people are our assets. Human capital is our biggest currency. Absolutely, 100%. Matique says, is tourism the vision you have for the local economy of Negril to create jobs and wealth for the Paris? And do you think the people of Negril will need to become accustomed to change and modernization? No, I think I'm not sure. I might have missed part of, or maybe taking your question comment here out of context. But I mean, I think somebody said it earlier about we do need to diversify. I think overall and have another great source of income outside of tourism. But for now, it's what we got, and we need to continue to invest in it majorly, 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 majorly. That's what I truly believe in terms of the adaptation of people in the grill to modernization. I think we'll be fine in that respect. I'm not sure if I fully understand your question in the context of your question, but I think Negril is ready for it. The people in Negril are ready for it, and we are itching for it tremendously. Latin says, yes, Cancun is way cheaper. That's what I figured. Appreciate that. Joel Voss says, Throp, I need a little piece of land, 10 minutes walk from the water. Any suggestions? A little piece of land, 10 minutes walk from the water. What's a little piece of land? Because there are pieces of land that are available across the street. When I say across the street, that is not on the beach here on the morass side. There's a lot of land that's available, like literally across the street. There is, but what's your but? There's so much. There's so many questions that I would have to ask in order to answer your question accurately. Budget, you can give me more information. Buffalo Soldier says Cancun is moderately to upper priced. Jeff Rogerson says from Montreal, the cheapest destination is Cuba, DR, Cancun. Interesting. What's going on, Tanika? Thanks for joining. Jeff says from Canada, a week stay in Jamaica, all inclusive 4-star plus 4+ star with air, about $1,500 more per couple than DR Mexico. The manuscript, thanks for sharing your perspective. Much appreciated. Donna Bryce says Jamaica needs a wider range of price points for visitors, for hotels, some to go to Cuba DR simply because more affordable, even though not as good as a product. Matique says Jamaica shouldn't be only chasing young tourists nor mass tourism like DR or Portugal. We need to pivot to luxury, the higher end in the market, just like Dubai. The numbers may be less, but their spend is greater. That's why building casinos in Montego Bay is a good start. Target higher spending tourists. We do need younger people because those younger people will eventually become older people, and eventually have more money. Kind of going back to our college age example. Patrick Dunbar says the West will forever be held back by the people dressed in their prison colors, whose minds need to be free from party to performance. Sophia Jackson says, yes, Sandals, I told her to go to Travelers. She didn't listen because she missed out on Jamaica. Next time. Bunty says, big up Throp and Throppers from Markham, Canada. Some hotels have day trips outside the hotel and around town. So in a way, they encourage you to go off script. A little money is spent outside the hotels, I guess. Yeah, and I think that's great. I think that's really, really great. Patrick Dunbar says, you are doing a great job. We need more people like you uplifting Jamaica. Thank you. Funny comment there. Shauna says, we're back. Shout out to Team Jamaica. Big up Oblique Seville for becoming world champ and his personal best. Like he said, put respect on my name. Exactly. That was phenomenal performance. And shout out to Tia Clayton as well for getting that silver, and Kashane Thompson. He got silver as well. All right. I think I hit on all the points that I wanted to in the article. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, I think I hit on all the. Wait, hold on. Yeah, I think we got through most of it. Going to take a quick second break here. Throp here again. As you're probably hearing, Jamaica is on an unprecedented economical tear, and I know many people are interested to learn how they might be able to buy property in Jamaica, move here, or even start a business. Enter ThropX. This is my annual Jamaica investment conference hosted at Travelers Beach Resort in Negril, Jamaica. If you're even considering moving to or investing in Jamaica, this is the best low-risk opportunity to do your due diligence and network with the very people driving the country forward. This event brings together a group of hand-picked, trusted, top-of-their-field individuals, the best developers, contractors, real estate pros, lenders, and government partners, all under one roof to help you make your move. This is very much an action-focused premium conference experience geared towards empowering you with the tools and team necessary to create your Jamaica dream. We've partnered with the Tax Administration of Jamaica to help you get your TRN and even open a bank account, all conveniently located on conference property. One of the most popular parts of the conference is a real estate tour. It's the best way to understand Jamaica's real estate market, seeing and experiencing properties firsthand so you can compare apples to apples. Another incredibly valuable part of the conference is the people you will meet. Attendees have been some of the most dynamic, inspiring individuals I have met doing incredible things with their lives. As always, this year will be fun, educational, and actionable, giving you the tools, insights, and connections to invest, build, and move to Jamaica. For more information, please visit thropx.com and join our mailing list.
Hey there, Throp here. I wanted to interrupt just for a minute to tell you about my family's hotel, Travelers Beach Resort. We are a 60-room Jamaican-owned and operated hotel located on the world-famous 7-mile white sand beach of Negril, Jamaica. My father started this property back in '94, and myself and my brothers Winfield and Wingate took over in 2011 after my father retired. Recently, we've made some upgrades to the property, particularly to our rooms. They've been redesigned and reimagined with comfort and style at the forefront. The textures, the light, the layout, each space was designed with intention, balancing modern touches with the familiar spirit of travelers. Our deluxe rooms and suites, which you are seeing on your screen now, have gone through an incredible transformation. We now have 2-bedroom suites available for your accommodations next time you're in Negril. We're especially proud of our gym. It's designed to give you a high-quality workout experience with premium equipment, plenty of space, and an energizing atmosphere. Our lounge has become one of the more popular public spaces, perfect for a family game night or catching the big game. Of course, our restaurant and bar is located right on the beach, so you can enjoy the most beautiful sunsets in the world. We look forward to welcoming you home. For more information, please visit www.tbr.travel.
Welcome home.
This podcast is supported by Discovery Water. Whether I'm working or training, I reach for Discovery Water. 100% premium Jamaican spring water. Bottled in glass, no plastic, no gimmicks. Refill, not landfill. Just clean, natural hydration from right here on the island.
All right, and we are back. So to kind of close out this section, we talked a little bit about like these future infrastructure projects that are coming to Negril, and I remain very, very optimistic about Negril. And as I've stated before, and kind of even saw in the ThropX commercial there, that there has like, in the last 5 years, I would say there's never been this much attention being given to Negril. There's never been this level of, I would say, realization of people, both private sector, government sector, like, oh, there might be something here. And never would I thought that we'd even be getting like an airport, especially when I first moved here. I was like, oh, like wasn't even on my radar. When I first heard about it, I was like, man, this is crazy. Absolute game changer, not just for Negril. I think it's a game changer for Jamaica in a huge way. And so, and I'm not the only one that believes this. I think there are a lot of people, a lot of smart people, a lot of smart institutions that are coming to Negril and investing here, and they see tremendous potential in this little resort town of ours. And the projects that we have coming on are very exciting, and I think it's going to, hopefully we can look back at this podcast and this live stream in a couple years from now and be like, "Ugh, I'm glad we talked about it, but thank God that's no longer our reality." And I do believe that's going to be what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be an automatic situation. I think it's something that's going to take a tremendous amount of hard work. I think it's going to take us, the Negril community and Negril citizens, to hold our leadership accountable and to ensure that these projects move forward in a timely fashion so we do not repeat history, so things don't remain the same, so that projects get started and they don't stop. We want them to continue and to be completed. And we want to go to the groundbreaking and then also go to the ribbon cutting ceremony, welcoming people to these new projects and these new infrastructure institutions that will be here eventually. But again, it's not just going to happen. I don't think it's just going to happen. It's going to be something that we need to continue to talk about and to make sure that we are not forgotten, because it feels like we have been, especially going through this article and me reflecting on my time here in Negril. But I still remain extremely optimistic. I still remain extremely confident and also very excited for what's coming and what's going to be happening. And I will continue to do my best to keep you all up to date on what's happening. And as opportunities present themselves, especially if if you're coming to the investment conference or if you're coming to ThropX, you'll be informed about them, and I'll let this community know as things develop. So let's finish out some comments here. Patrick Dunbar says Jamaica is right as on track, right on track, and I'm glad we have people like you to help us to the new frontier. Thank you. And I do believe Jamaica is on track. I believe it. I really do. In my hearts of hearts, I think there's a lot of amazing things happening, unlike ever before in Jamaica. Um, I spoke about the South Coast tour that we're doing for ThropX. Amazing things happening there. Really amazing things happening there. Very excited for that part of the tour. For those that don't know, we've expanded ThropX for an additional day this year. This is my Jamaica investment and real estate and investment and real estate conference, and this is taking place from November 16th to the 22nd. And part of the conference, we have half educational panelists coming, and then half of it is an actual real estate tour. So traditionally, we've only done one day moving around Negril. Last year, we did Negril, and then as a bonus, we went to the Pinnacle in Montego Bay, which was amazing and fantastic. Really appreciate them accommodating us and literally rolling the red carpet out for us. But this year, we're doing one day in Negril and the greater Negril, showing land for sale, commercial properties for sale, turnkey solutions for sale, even going to different, if you're thinking about starting a business, we have commercial rental property that is for sale as well. So that's one day. And then the second day, we're going to be going to Treasure Beach. We're going to the South Coast, quick stop in White House. But the main attraction, the main thing is Treasure Beach, and I'm very excited to share that with you. A lot of great things happening there, and if you haven't been to Treasure Beach, I can't wait to show it to you. You're going to, like I have, I believe you're going to fall in love with it. It's my second home. Going there. I think next week I'm supposed to go there, but I try to get there as often as I possibly can, and so that's ThropX real estate tours. Moonlight Queen says, Thropex, thank you for your dedication to encouraging Jamaicans to the future, returning residents like me. You are welcome. Giova says, can I buy a virtual ticket if you stream some of parts of the real estate tour? Yes. No, sorry. we have virtual tickets, but not part of the real estate tour. We have virtual tickets for the panel discussion days only. So that's available at thropex.com. So if you go to the website, you can get more information on the overall event, but the virtual tickets are only for the panel education days, which are on the 17th and 18th of November. We tried to do it last year, but the technology was not working. So I'm not even gonna promise that. I'm not gonna promise that. If it happens, it happens. Like we'll throw it up on here. Donna Bryce says, Throp, the renovations look lovely. Some of the backsplash tiles look like those at Active. You have a good designer. Thank you. Odd question maybe, but is the Negril Airport going to be accommodated at a medium-sized private jets, or will be enabled to manage international large commercial jets? International large commercial jets. That's what we're going for. So one of the main reasons why and I would encourage you all to watch this. And I'm not saying because it's my content, but it's actually really good. This is probably the most, I would say, direct to consumer, informative video on the airport, which is from, oh man, I forget his name. Gentleman from the Airport Authority. I forget his last name. Horace. Oh my gosh, sorry. Anyway, watch this. It's great. Throwing it in the comment section there. And it really breaks down the plans for the airport, shows you the schematics, shows you where it's going to be. But I think he said, don't quote me on this, I think he said 43% of the arrivals at Sanctuary International Airport, Montego Bay Airport, come to Negril. And the capacity of MBJ is going to be reached in a few short years, and there's nowhere for Montego Bay to expand. There's no more land, and the solution is to build an airport in Negril. So it has to happen. It's actually going to be in Little London. So they're going to probably expand Negril, quote unquote, to Little London. And the idea is to take off a bunch of the load from Montego Bay to Negril. And as Lambert said, Lambert Williams, he said that I don't know if it was his survey or another survey, but he said 99% of the people who took the survey said that they would be willing to pay $100 extra per plane ticket to land in Negril. Absolutely. I would pay that all day. I'd pay that all day to land in Negril, to get through customs and be in my hotel. Well, forget that part, but to land in Negril and to drive from the airport to get to my hotel in 20 minutes, as opposed to now, they're exaggerating a little bit. Somebody said in the article 4 hours, but I guess technically there have been cases of people taking 4 hours to get from Montego Bay Airport to Negril. So I guess technically they're not wrong. They're not wrong. But let's just say a conservative 2 hours, taking 2 hours. That's a long day. Sometimes if you're coming from Miami, it'll take you longer to get from your hotel. It'll take you longer to get from the airport to your hotel than it did for you to fly here. And forget about it. If you're taking one of those 4-hour trips, it's just like, man, why bother kind of thing. So I think, being that this is going to be large international airliners, it's going to open up Negril and the West for business travelers as well. A lot of people I know, and I've given this example before, live in Miami, work in Jamaica, in Kingston, live in Kingston, work in Miami. You know what I'm saying? And so you'll have the same opportunities here in Jamaica. I mean, just here in Negril, just amazing, amazing, amazing opportunity. I think is going to do so much for the area, and it is coming. It is coming. was going to say one more thing on that, but it just slips my mind. I need to get some food. Clary T, what's going on? Hello, I'm in Treasure Beach now. I love it so much. Don't plan to leave anytime soon. Still holding on to my lot in Negril, though. Add Taino Cove to your tour. Thank you for that. Thanks for everything with us. Appreciate that. No problem. Jeff Rogerson says, can't wait to see an airport in a grill with the runway only half pound. Right. Okay, you just triggered what I was going to say. So the other thing in the presentation that you'll see the one that I put in the comments there is that they built it in an area that allows for expansion. So expansion, so you just never know. You don't know how big planes are going to get. You don't know where the future is going to go, and we want to be able to accommodate larger planes in the future. So the area that they chose is has been set and chosen to be able to expand the runway to get in even larger planes. Donna Bryce says, have you heard any feedback from Little London residents regarding the airport? The few people that I spoke to are very much looking forward to it. This could be, I mean, they're welcoming it from what I understand, because I mean, all of that land value. Let me just, it's a good excuse to bring up the map here. I mean, let's go over to Little London here, New Hope. I mean, all of this is like the main road going to Little London, Sheffield Sav. I mean, all of this, I mean, if this is going to turn into the prime real estate, residential real estate, don't be like, and 100% there are going to be hotels opening, like airport hotels that are going to be opening here. 100%. 100%. I mean, you see it in every area where there are hotels like across the street that are right there. This is going to be no different. But the land value here, especially like where you have like families who have owned these lands for generations and generations, they're going to be okay. I'm not telling them to sell. I'm just, they could if they want. I'm sure if they want to turn that into cash, they could. But man, you're going to be able to do a lot very soon. Natalie Holmes says, I'm an oddball. I'm keeping that $100 for liquor. Bundy says, Throp, we are lucky to have the little we have in Jamaica next door to Cuba. Their tourism industry and everyday life is on life support. Really? I didn't know that. It's hard to look at. Things are hard in Jamaica, but not as hard as Cuba. I wish Cuba well. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that. Mario says, a little off topic, but how local tourism does, how, I think you're asking, how does local tourism do in Negril? Is that your question there, Mario? I think that's what you're saying. If I'm understanding it right, we get a tremendous amount of local tourism now. I can speak for travelers. I would say we get tons and tons of and when I say local, like people coming from all over the island. I always defer to Kingston, but we have a lot of Kingstonians coming here, and for business, for pleasure, just for travel, vacation, I should say. So we have a good local business here, which is important. Like that also speaks to the internal Jamaican economy as well. I always think back to COVID and post-COVID. That's what really, how much local tourism. That's what really kept us afloat during COVID and like immediately after COVID. I can't speak to the percentage, but a large amount, I would say a large amount of our business is local. All right, guys, I think we're gonna call it there. It's a late one, 7:15 on a Sunday. I gotta get ready for tomorrow. We got training in the morning. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy today's live stream. I hope it wasn't too negative for you. It wasn't for me. It was just talking about our little reality of our little town here, Negril. But always fun as usual. We will be doing a live stream. We're supposed to put out a video today, but just couldn't get to it. Anyway, supposed to be putting we're going to be doing a live stream on Thursday. We'll be back again on Sunday. Trying to see if I got anything going on. Yeah, Sunday live stream. We'll be back same time, same place. Definitely not the same time. We're doing earlier next week. I'm not doing this late again. Mistake on my part. Just looking at the calendar if I'm missing anything. It's got a fun week of work. That's about it. Anyway, I do have a Twitter account. You can look it up. Just Throp. You can find me. Don't really post almost anything at all. I just repost people's stuff, but barely on there. Thank you all. I hope you have a great week ahead. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evenings, and I will see you on Thursday on ThropX live stream. Peace, everybody.
Throp here again. As you're probably hearing, Jamaica is on an unprecedented economical tear, and I know many people are interested to learn how they might be able to buy property in Jamaica, move here, or even start a business. Enter ThropX. This is my annual Jamaica investment conference hosted at Travelers Beach Resort in Negril, Jamaica. If you're even considering moving to or investing in Jamaica, this is the best low-risk opportunity to do your due diligence and network with the very people driving the country forward. This event brings together a group of hand-picked, trusted, top-of-their-field individuals, the best developers, contractors, real estate pros, lenders, and government partners, all under one roof to help you make your move. This is very much an action-focused premium conference experience geared towards empowering you with the tools and team necessary to create your Jamaica dream. We've partnered with the Tax Administration of Jamaica to help you get your TRN and even open a bank account, all conveniently located on conference property. One of the most popular parts of the conference is the real estate tour. It's the best way to understand Jamaica's real estate market, seeing and experiencing properties firsthand so you can compare apples to apples. Another incredibly valuable part of the conference is the people you will meet. Attendees have been some of the most dynamic, inspiring individuals I have met doing incredible things with their lives. As always, this year will be fun, educational, and actionable, giving you the tools, insights, and connections to invest, build, and move to Jamaica. For more information, please visit thropx.com and join our mailing list.